Hi there, I'm Steve Nygren, founder of Serenbe. You know, for a lot of Americans, life just isn't working the way it should. We're more stressed, anxious, and disconnected than ever. Many people feel left behind by the economy, let down by institutions they once trusted, and overwhelmed by the scale of environmental challenges. Much of this comes down to something simple: where and how we live. When we reinvest in our communities and rethink the way we build and connect with one another, we open the door to healthier, more meaningful lives, not just for ourselves, but for the future generations. That's what my book, Start in Your Own Backyard, Transforming Where You Live with Radical Common Sense, is about. It offers a practical, hopeful roadmap for creating places where people of all ages can thrive, where everyday life is infused with beauty, purpose, and connection. The book is here to spark ideas, offer guidance, and remind you that big change really can start small. Start in Your Own Backyard is available now wherever you buy books. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply begin right where we are.
Living on Maryland's eastern shore, Darby Pollock and her family found themselves pulled in two directions. They were drawn to the beauty of rural life, but they were craving the connection, walkability, and sense of community that comes with a densely built village. They even began imagining what it might look like to create something of their own. But when Darby's husband, Darren, came across Serenbe, everything clicked into place. One visit in early 2020 was all it took. Within months, they made the move, finding the balance they had been searching for. Today, Darby is the heart behind Soul Barn at Serenbe, where she's helped transform a traditional equestrian facility into a far more expansive community hub. From writing and groundwork to meditation and sound baths, Soul Barn has become a vibrant, activated space where horses and humans support one another. What makes Darby's path to Soul Barn especially compelling is that she didn't grow up around horses. Her journey into natural horsemanship began as an adult, while searching for a more mindful and humane riding environment for her daughter. At the same time, she was navigating her own lifelong experiences with anxiety. But working with horses requires presence, vulnerability, and emotional awareness. And in practicing those skills, Darby developed a deeper understanding of herself. In today's episode, Steve and I catch up with Darby to talk about the powerful role horses can play in self-awareness, the evolution of the Serenbe stables, and what it means to create a life and a livelihood centered on authenticity and connection.
When you're in a place of shutdown or having those walls up, a horse doesn't want to interact. The horse was on the other side of the round pen in the paddock, nothing to do with me. But as I talked through it, as I let go of these walls and felt some vulnerability, and the tears started to fall, the horse felt safe and came right over to me.
Darby, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're thrilled to have you, Steve.
You and the barn are such a part of the community. Look forward to this conversation.
I know, not only a resident, but running the stables here, which are so amazing. So let's get started. What is your Serenbe story? How did you discover us and come into our orbit and live here?
It happened 6 years ago now, so
okay.
I can't believe it's been that long. But Darren and I were living in Maryland, Eastern Shore of Maryland, and we loved our home. It was lovely. It was beautiful, Eastern Shore on the water, Easton and St. Michael's area. But we had also lived on Capitol Hill, and we valued both the downtown space and rural living, but we were just missing something.
Yeah,
we were missing something. My horses, I had two at the time, were an hour from me. It was an hour drive to the barn. Darren and I talked about possibly moving just in the same area. we started kind of daydreaming about what we wanted. Darren even started conversations about starting our own B&B and
That's great.
and cyclotourism. And I said, well, we have to have trails for the horses and maybe we even do some farming. Who knows? And then, it could transform into something else. So Darren actually started researching 6 to 9 months, interviewing people, developers, chefs.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And along the way, someone said, I think you should check out Serenbe.
Incredible.
Never heard of it. Never.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've never heard this story.
Yeah, I know. We get so many good ones. I love how people discover it. It's so interesting to me.
Yes. And, Darren sent me the link to the website and it from there, I said, this is it. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We never dreamed of moving out of Maryland. We really wanted to stay there.
Sure.
We had family there, but we came down February 2020.
Okay. So
right before
COVID. Oh, God, the dreaded.
Right before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We stayed in one of the lofts and we spent a weekend here and doing all the things and wine tasting with Nadine and, restaurants and hiking. And we fell in love with it. Yes, we were hooked. And then, everything shut down. And
now, at that point, had you decided you were going to come, but you hadn't rented?
We hadn't put the house on the
Okay.
market or anything. We just wanted to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we decided to come down with the kids.
Okay.
We had the house on the market
Okay.
at that time. I guess that was end of May.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy time.
And we had multiple offers on our house.
Well, you're on
back
the water.
in Maryland.
I bet everybody wanted.
And we found property here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was...
It blew up. And I think people were looking for nature, right? So your home was on the water. They wanted that moment, that feeling probably.
People
and
from
same
DC.
thing.
Yeah.
It just, everything blew up here and everybody wanted to get out of the city and have some type of connection to nature where they felt like they could get outside safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but for me, I already had that obviously, but for me, it was just this combination. It's a perfect combination.
Aww.
Seriously, that downtown feel, that like this village, along with hiking. I used to drive to a park that had, trail systems.
Yep.
I can walk out my front door.
Isn't that great? I know.
And see your horses.
And see my horses.
And your
walk
kids.
to my, yes.
So tell me about the horses, because I believe you didn't grow up with horses. So how did you get into that, and how did you come to that? Is it English? Is it Western? Is it just...
So my horsemanship journey started 11 or 12 years ago. But I think that I need to tell a little bit of my backstory.
Please.
I don't know if this is too much information.
Not at all. We love it all.
So as a kid, I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder at the age of 6.
Wow.
It was pretty profound. I mean, I had, like a whole body tic, turning the head thing. Yeah. And it was something that I just dealt with. It wasn't really treated necessarily. And over time, I just learned to suppress those things, those triggers, but not really getting necessary help. As an adult, you have layers that just add on. You build up walls.
Mm-hmm.
Not that my life was, fine. And I have 2 beautiful kids and a wonderful husband. So that aspect was just wonderful. And that's where I dove into. Like I put all my energy into being a mom, and I was homeschooling. And my oldest started taking riding lessons a few miles down the road from our school at the time. My homeschooling was back and forth. Mm-hmm. But at the time, my oldest was in 2nd grade, and Greer was there for 6 months or so, and I started to see things that I didn't really care for. Treatment of the horses, and not just from the instructors themselves, but the students, the kids were
just the atmosphere. Was,
yeah. So, and I hadn't had any experience myself, I didn't know that any kind of training methods for horses. So I started to do some research and found something called natural horsemanship. And it became a journey from there as far as looking for a new trainer, a new coach for Greer. In the midst of looking for a new coach, I found something called equine life coaching with, gestalt life coaching with horses. And I signed up from a personal session, and my life hasn't been the same. I mean, this person also became a trainer for Greer. So it was transformational. For my first session, I was in a round pen with a horse on the ground, and I was talking about my own experiences and talking about, self-confidence and, self-worthiness. And when you're in a place of shutdown or having those walls up, a horse doesn't want to interact. The horse was on the other side of the round pen in the paddock, nothing to do with me. But as I talked through it, as I let go of these walls and felt some vulnerability, and the tears started to fall, the horse felt safe and came right over to me. So it's a way of being present and just this like strong representation of you're being vulnerable, you're being authentic. And it's a great place to learn self-awareness.
Wow, thanks for being vulnerable with us, sharing that story.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the neighborhood you grew up in when you were 6 years old?
Oh, that's an interesting question. We actually moved around quite a bit. And, when I was 6, I was living in a suburban house.
Suburban,
outside of Annapolis. Yes.
No connection to nature necessarily.
A little bit,
but not.
Yeah, exactly. I think nature has so
nature, horses, it's all
it
right
is
together
all
there.
Tied. Yeah. I think that I found some real support from the horses, nature. There's an energetic level there that's unexplainable.
Exactly.
What's Richard Louve's book that he wrote about animals, the animal-human connection? That book really, it was a relationship that he had, I think it was with a bird or was a fox. I can't remember. It was, and he started having this relationship with an animal, and then he did all this research and started digging in, and it was just sort of this beautiful storytelling of exactly that there's just something very different by having that, the animals understand and they understand when they're needed. Yeah. I mean, and that was just, it was the beginning of that bonding and companionship with the horse, animals in general, that started me on this journey of starting to shed those old beliefs that no longer serve. It's been fantastic. But, it is a journey. There are
when
layers.
Did you buy your first horse?
Yeah, a couple of years later. So this woman, Joyce Calver, was the life coach, and she was partnered with Christina Stinchcomb, who became our riding trainer. They headed a women's retreat to Ireland as a support group, but I had to learn how to ride a horse. So in order to go. Yes. Okay. In order to go. We rode from B&B, and it was a beautiful experience, but it was also about the connection with these wonderful women and being vulnerable and just taking my life to another, through that next journey. And that's where, this is where I come to Soul Barn. I want to provide the same kind of things for other people.
Well, and that's a great transition. So the stables, just to turn to Steve for a minute to give a little bit of history of the barn. Tell us a little bit about, so let me just set the stage for our listeners. When you enter into one of the main entrances of Serenbe, you've come off these beautiful country roads with trees on either sides, and you're going to maybe see a scattering of cows, and then you hit the entrance, you see the sign, and really the first thing you see is this beautiful barn. So talk about that, of like why you placed that there, what was your vision, and then I'd love to sort of, because it's gone through various iterations over the years. We've had various barn managers, maybe we can say more traditional management.
Well, clearly this was while I grew up having a horse. We moved out here. The girls had horses, trail riding. That was part of our life. But that wasn't my driving force necessarily. It was that I thought we needed to include horses and equestrian, but that I did not want a gate. I did not want to look like a subdivision. This was to look like a village tucked in. And so, of course, the rural countryside of England was one of our wonderful things. And so how do we bring that American vision of that? And so when you pulled in, having a stable certainly suggested yesteryear rural and yet an entrance to the village. And so we selected that location, that the hill that was the first thing you saw. It sets back from the entrance, but it's what you see when you drive in. And we realized it just couldn't be a barn. We hired a key architect.
Peter Block, right?
And there was a lot of thought with Peter Block on the positioning, not just so the vision of it, but then, of course, how could we have airflow? How could
I appreciate that
sun,
every summer. Yes, it is beautiful in there. It's just
all the issues that then barns have. How could we position it in such a way? So clearing, that was like so many times the forest. You don't appreciate the landscape because it's so covered with trees. And of course, these are mostly new growth trees. So when we take down trees, and so as that location it came to life as we took the trees down and positioned the barn and just the angles that it could be. But then, oh my goodness, who was going to run the stables? Because that wasn't us. We thought about it from the beauty, the positioning, but we weren't the technical. I had never had show horses, dressage, anything to do with a professional barn. So we were totally naive, and probably naive enough that we didn't bring somebody in to know that. So that's why it's all about the beauty and not the function
if
necessarily.
You build it, they will come.
That's right. That's what we have found out. So that's exactly what that is.
Well, and I think the Lamarcas, were they the first?
I believe so. So one of our early residents said, "Hey, we would love to have horses and so on." And so that has been the evolution. And so I just love hearing your story and the two words that you don't always think that go together, soul and barn. But of course, anyone who's dealt with horses on the level, especially that you have, it's such a natural linking. And so I just love the fact that now you have branded that, because that's so much about what Serenbe's about. Is that connecting to the heart and the soul, whether it's through your walks in nature or with the animals.
Right. Yeah. So when we first got here, I was just a boarder, and yes, it's such a magnificent facility. It's just just being there is brings your blood pressure down. I really, truly, and going out on the trails on your horse just straight out from the barn.
It's magical.
That aspect is, like no other. But beyond that, I wanted to bring something more. And being that I had been introduced to other modalities and the life coaching and meditation with horses and all of that, I just felt like this is a beautiful place to have it. And starting out, I was just mucking stalls. I was just knee deep in the day-to-day operation. Right. But eventually, I was attracting all the right people, like-minded thinking. And that's what really got things moving.
Yeah, you've built a community up there.
Yes. Yeah. And that also goes to just personal development as well. Like Serenbe itself, there were all these attributes that I love: the nature, the farming, the beautiful architecture. But in the end, it's the community that has been transformational for me personally, and the barn itself and the community there now. So I was also looking for a new coach down here that mirrored my own philosophy of training and the background that I had. And I found Karen Jones, who lives 5-10 minutes down the road. It's just, it was all serendipitous, and she is just an amazing trainer. She knows how to just break the ice with people and connect immediately. And she has 60 years of horsemanship experience as well. Her lessons are more about building that bond on the ground with the horse.
Right.
We would be practicing that for weeks before even, getting in a saddle.
That's what I talked to Sherry Salata, who has a horse named Steve, which is really funny, not intentional, but kind of great. And she was saying, and I don't know if she's on it now, but she's like, the beginning is, she's like, I'm just with him.
Yes. Yeah. Sharing space, leadership leading. That is really Karen's philosophy. You need to build the confidence and leadership from the ground. And build that bonding, that connection with the horse. And that in itself, even though she's not a therapist or a life coach, it becomes that way.
Right.
So my first horse, Chili, he initially was not a self-confident horse. He had his own anxieties and tended to spook. And, if I wanted to ride him, I had to embody leadership. I had to embody that confidence, and you cannot lie to a horse. They know if you're feeling anxious, they're going to just mimic that. They're going to mirror that.
Right.
That right there is a way of being self-aware. If you want to ride, if you want to enjoy the space with this being, you gotta.
That's incredible. Well, and you've taken the stables from a purely boarding facility to what we've sort of talked about, a hub, and in a sort of a community within a community. Sound baths, yoga, beyond. Talk a little bit about the programming and how, I guess it's really aligned programming. Tell me how that all came to be and share some of the other things you're doing. So
you mentioned Sherry Salata, and she came in as a boarder and didn't own a horse prior. But, she saw my vision, and she was taking lessons with Karen as well. And the three of us really were co-founders of the brand Soul Barn. Right. She fully embraced where I wanted to take the barn and what kind of offerings. So the meditation, the sound baths, all of that is just, wellness for humans, happy humans and happy horses supporting each other.
Right.
And I think she was, she saw me spinning my wheels a little bit, but she was able to introduce me to Megan Myrick, who
Megan's lovely. Yes,
heads up the sound.
Well, and Sherry's been on the podcast, so we'll do a quick little plug for her episode. But she's a leader, but she's had her own journey, and she's so, to your point, like embracing and warm and giving and wonderful. And so I love that partnership happened.
Yes. And again, I apologize for using the same word, serendipitous. I mean, it's just, I feel like once there was a clear line of vision, a clear focus, then they just start coming. Like they're just, the people are attracted to the barn. And it's just more and more.
And things just work out. I mean, I think about the physical barn, and there's things that we didn't design, like how do you use that upstairs loft room now? That's really more of
It is fantastic. It started out with Kim Ferrari, who started the complementary meditations, which are just lovely. And really that was a really a beginning of building that community that was beyond just not just horses, but horses and riding. And then the sound baths and Reiki group and Soulborn Sounds, which is just an intimate concert experience, which is also more than just a vocalist, but storytelling
and so this is a loft room that you wouldn't normally find in a barn, right?
True.
And,
yes.
And so when we designed that,
all of that in the loft,
we weren't sure. I mean, it just happened and it came to be. And now you look back, maybe we understood that this was you were coming, and somehow that energy was going to be that we needed this gathering space above the stable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an incredible space, but it's only a building. And so you guys have filled it not only with the horses, but the energy and the mindfulness and all of the programming and the people, which takes it to a whole nother level. Like Steve and I always talk about, like Serenbe's a place and you've set the table.
And everyone else is bringing the feast.
Yeah,
there you go. I like
that. And you get many people that ask
with talents and
Yeah.
And you many people ask about that staircase that you don't normally find.
Correct. Yeah. Originally built for a movie craft.
That's correct. That's correct. And because it had to be structural, it was the only thing that wasn't out of movie set material.
That could stay.
And it could actually stay. So not what you would find in a barn.
No,
but it's a
you typically
gorgeous
don't.
staircase.
But I would never want. I would never
we'll drop
want to
photos of that into. Yeah. Well, tell us about, because you also have a sanctuary and rescue program.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That was that something an initial plan or
no.
Okay.
No, that wasn't. So I came down with my two horses from Maryland, Starlight and Chili. Over the years, though, I have, for lack of better word, collected horses. And these aren't horses that were mistreated. They had lovely homes. They had loving parents or people. But for various reasons, for health issues, for financial reasons, they can no longer own a horse. Or the horse is lame, had a fractured coffin bone, so you're no longer riding her. Another one has uveitis and had to have an eye removed. So these horses normally wouldn't be able to be sold or go to another home. And who knows where they would have ended up. A lot end up in the auction houses. And I just can't let that happen.
No.
And I'm giving back. The horses have provided a lot for me in my life. And I want to support them as well. So they can have a life beyond riding. They can provide Reiki sessions, which we're talking with Alex Bravo about now, because right now Alex just offers group sessions in the loft, but we're thinking about providing horse Reiki groups.
Love that.
Life coaching, equine experience with Karen. So that's an opportunity for people to just enjoy a horse on the ground, gratitude grooming, leadership leading. So if you don't want to take lessons, but you just want to have an experience with the horse.
I love gratitude grooming. That sounds so beautiful, because I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by horses, as they should be. In a sense, they should be very honored.
1,000-pound animal.
It's a very large animal, and you have to be very cautious. But to be able to bring somebody in and educate them on the beauty of them and how to safely be around them, that's probably a beautiful way to do it.
Yes. And speak their language, watch the body language. Yeah. You get to learn a lot in those sessions. Yeah.
Are there any things, like exciting new things that are coming? I mean, this is already Horse Reiki and all this is new to me.
Yeah, the Reiki will be new.
Okay.
We also want a little more socializing.
I know people love to come to the barn, but because they are boarders, we have to be cautious because those animals are on special diets and, it is a private facility, but it's like you want to provide a welcoming opportunity for people to enjoy it.
So registering for a possible, cocktails in the courtyard and have a Q&A with Karen Jones, learn about her dynamics. That kind of,
wonderful.
And man, that courtyard is one courtyard for a party, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's very fabulous.
Overlooking the little village of Grange.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we got here. We had a pony party for our 4-year-old. And that was in that courtyard, and it was just a glorious day. And we were like, we really don't want to leave this place. How do we do it? So the stables was our
and I hear that. I actually hear a lot of those kinds of stories.
Yeah,
and it's just
it's incredible. Well, as we're wrapping up, is there anything else before I get to my final question that we haven't touched on you want to share? Or?
Okay, actually, in regards to the sanctuary, I have also connected with Jennifer Estrop, who owns Zorro's Crossing, and we really started to connect after the Art Farm film Rescued Hearts.
And this is another sanctuary in Chattahoochee Hills, just down the street from us.
Yes, and we plan on offering workshops and other offerings together. So we're in collaboration and not in competition.
And, I realized that we possibly, it's time to pull all of you in, because we're doing the trail system that is to be dual also for hikers and for equestrian horses. And so this trail system, 98 miles in the hill country, can tie together all the recreation centers as well as the equestrian centers.
Oh, wow.
And these are trails away from the roads and what have you. And so this turns this entire... And these go all the way down to the river. And then eventually...
I know. Amazing.
We're working with Trust for Public Land, and you could take all the way into the Beltline.
Oh, I
know. It's
blow your mind.
No I know.
Wow.
So
we with a horse on the Beltline.
We're just moving forward. And so this is the whole movement now with the Chattahoochee Hill Conservancy on the agrarian tourism. But then also with the Trust for Public Land and Chattahoochee Now in this entire trail network. And then the Path Foundation did some of these real studies. So we need maybe you could help us. We'll bring all the people that are interested in connecting the equestrian trails.
I would love
so that this network is very inclusive.
Yes.
Very exciting things to happen.
Yeah,
that is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, you think it can't get better. I mean, I know this is like I promote this place, but it truly. I learned so much on these in these conversations, and then I even learned stuff with Steve, even though I'm with him all the time.
well, and our farmettes, which especially the new ones off of Sardi's, which is across from Sardi's Farms. A lot of those have good soils and flat enough so people could have their own 1 or 2 horses and small barns, and then connect to these trails. It could come back to you and the other equestrian centers. So you can really see this vision. This network's just going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah. Well, the last question we always have is, if somebody was coming to Serenbe that had never been, what would you recommend for them to do? I mean, the stables is one thing, but what would you suggest they do?
It's probably an obvious one, but the pathways, the trails are just amazing to me. The paths from hamlet to hamlet. You just talked about your European villages. Like, that is just the feel. And I always find something new, a new path, new trail. And it's always just.
And it changes.
Especially as the seasons change.
Yes.
I was just studying on the way over here, literally took a picture. The white oaks, whatever the old white oaks are, you can see why they have the name white oaks, because right now all their blooms are really white compared to some of the newer varieties. I don't know if it's just because they're younger trees. They don't have that. And, as many times as I walk by, I just was fascinated with it, trying to find the old ones that are blooming that white versus the other ones. So, and as many times as I've been on the same trails, probably the same trail, this week in that white color, it's just, wow.
Really special.
I'll take that in next time I'm out.
Yeah, check it out. It's really check the white oak on the way to the inn.
Okay.
It's one of those it's on an old homestead.
Okay.
And wow. Yeah.
Well, Darby, thank you so much for the time.
Thank
really
you
lovely.
So much for having me.
Oh my God, our pleasure. It was so fun getting to know you better and learning about your journey. And really, thank you for being vulnerable with us. It's very
thank
honoring.
You for
very
offering
meaningful.
The supportive group. Yeah.
Thank you.
The Inn at Serenbe is a luxury retreat tucked away in the rolling countryside just outside Atlanta and just minutes from Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. With over 1,000 acres to explore, you'll find preserved forests, a wildflower meadow, and over 15 miles of scenic hiking trails. Whether you're exploring the animal village, lounging by the pool, or enjoying a fresh farm-to-table meal, there's no shortage of ways to unwind at the Inn at Serenbe. Use code Serenbe Stories when you book online or over the phone and receive 10% off your next stay. The Inn at Serenbe offers endless ways to connect with nature and create unforgettable memories, so book today.